but we got some exciting news that came out this week. Some
Uh-oh.
crazy news that came out this week that
Yes,
I'm
it
pretty
did.
sure out of the three of us, I'm pretty sure we did not see this coming. There was some
No.
rumors. There was
Yeah.
some rumors going around, but I'm pretty sure we did not see this coming.
No,
But
I didn't.
Karl-Anthony Towns has been traded to the New York Knicks.
Oof.
Minnesota receives Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a 2025 top 13 projected first-round pick. And like we were talking about it before, Rodney had mentioned the Charlotte Hornets were involved in this trade as well.
Mhm.
It was just a small increment, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. I'm going to start off with you first, Dickie. How do you feel about this trade, and how is this going to look for the overall outcome for the New York Knicks?
Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, I was a little bit shocked with the trade, only because we had heard some rumblings about, a Cat trade, maybe even a Rudy, like they kind of had to split that up. But I thought since they had made the Western Conference and not only made the Western Conference Finals, but also beat the Denver Nuggets on their way to the Western Conference Finals, I kind of thought in Minnesota, the feeling was like, okay, let's run it back. Let's maybe, increase our bench depth and, take another shot at this thing. But they pulled the trigger. I do love I'm not gonna lie, I like the trade for them. I personally felt like, against my personal biases against Julius Randle, but I think he just wasn't, in my opinion.
Right. Yes, I know what you're trying to say. He wasn't it. You can go and say it.
That Knicks
He wasn't.
Like that run they went on last year, he was hurt for the entire thing. I know people might say, well, what if Julius was there? It just doesn't feel like that same brotherly type of like feel. Julius was kind of like on the outside. Now, also losing DiVincenzo, I know that hurts them, big, especially, those Villanova boys with Brunson, Hart. Now they got Mikal Bridges, went out and got Mikal Bridges, who also went to Villanova. I know they wanted to kind of keep that intact, but in this league, no risk, no reward. So they had to send DiVincenzo, and now Cat coming to the Knicks. In my personal opinion, I really think the Knicks can be the second best team in the Eastern Conference. And I know people will be like, well, what about Philly? In my opinion, I have been burned by Philly too many times. It's not even by Philly. It's by Joel and
parlays, man. The parlays getting kicked.
It's Joel Embiid's health. That's what the success of the Philadelphia 76ers is predicated on. It's not about Paul George. It's not about a rising star in Tyrese Maxey. It's all about Joel Embiid's health. Can he stay healthy for the full regular season, or just, play 60 games and then be ready for the playoffs? That is what will determine Philly's health. But I think, in all honesty, I think the Knicks, the only team they're looking up at is Boston Celtics. Now, also, I do think the Knicks need to buffer out that bench a little bit, because again, they don't really have much of a bench now with DiVincenzo gone. I mean, you got a pretty solid starting five, but once that sixth man comes off the bench, who's that going to be? So we'll see with that. But right now, I think the Knicks, if I was a Knicks fan, I'll be jumping for joy right now.
Okay, very well said. Very well said. Ronnie, what you think, bro?
I am indifferent with the trade, fellas. And I'm going to explain why I kind of am. I mean, they did trade Julius Randle over to the Timberwolves, and, he's coming off a collar injury. But from the Timberwolves standpoint, I mean, is it a 1-year rental, or are you going to pay him? So that's one thing I'm kind of thinking about, when you make this move. But, I mean, if I'm the New York Knicks, we can call ourselves the New York Villanovas. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at all. Cat going over there with, Hart, OG, then Mitch Robinson is hurt. He's going to come back in. And when he comes back, that's going to put Karl-Anthony Towns at the 4, and they can run it naturally with John Hart coming off the bench. So that's kind of how I'm going to be looking at the Knicks. I mean, I kind of like Dickie Moss' take. Like, I still don't think they're the best team. I think Joel Embiid will work him in the regular season, but I'm not going with Joe. I'm with you. I'm done. Joel, we're done. Like, you show me in the playoffs healthy. And, I say you dropped 35 points per game on the Knicks last year, but I mean, you only played a few games. But I got a theory, fellas. Let me know what you think about this. So, with the Timberwolves, they got Julius Randle, and for me, it's a 1-year rental. I just don't see them paying. I just can't see them paying him a max contract. But how about this? They got Naz Reid. You know Naz Reid is a baller, bro. Start him. Put Randall on the bench. He's a volume shooter. Let him dominate the second squad, bro. Let him go do that and earn his keep, man. That's what I really feel, man. You can't take Gobert out, bro. That's my theory.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, I like that, but I don't think he's at that point in his career. Because remember, that was a lot of the stuff that we said about
like in his mindset.
Yeah, exactly. His mind. In his mind, he still thinks he can contribute, which I think he can contribute. I think he is a starter. I'm not going to disrespect and say that he's not a starter, but I think Julius Randle is going to want to come off the he's going to want to start.
Of course.
Yeah, he's going to want to start. I don't think he's at that point in his career, and especially coming off the injury, he's going to want to prove like, yo, I still.
He want to get. It's a money year, so it's a money year. He got to show it.
Money year. Exactly. Yeah, bro. For me, man, I honestly think that this trade doesn't move the needle for any of the teams. I feel like Cat and Julius Randle were kind of the same player in a sense. I feel like Julius Randle is more of a effort type play. He puts in more effort. He puts in more hustle. He put more aggression than Cat does. Cat is more skillful. He'll make more threes. He'll shoot the ball a little more, and he'll make more points. He'll grab maybe a little bit more rebounds. But for me, it's like you're kind of trading for the same player. Now, I'll give the edge to Minnesota because they're getting Dante DiVincenzo, which I think he's a dog. I think this guy hustles out of his mind. He can create for other players. He can shoot the three. He's a baller. He's a baller in the court. So I think that's going to help out in the whole aspect of backing up Anthony Edwards and that whole second unit with Naz Reid, because I agree with Rodney. I think now if they put Naz Reid to start, it'll be great, but I still like him coming off the bench because it reminds me of Tyler Hero with the Miami Heat. When he moved from the sixth man to the starter, he started playing like trash. He started playing like trash, and it's like, all right, let's put him back to the sixth man, let him run the second team, and let him be a baller. And I feel like that's what you got to do with Naz Reid. Let him come off the bench, back up Rudy Gobert, back up Julius Randle, and he could drop 20 to maybe 22 points a game if he really puts his heart out into it. But just speaking on the overall aspect of the trade, I really don't think it moved the needle for any team. I think Boston's going to be on top. Philly's going to be on top. My dark horse, Miami Heat, I'm always going to mention them. And even the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to be doing work.
Yep, there you go. Yep, let's talk about it.
And then on the west side, you still got the Clips. Yeah, Paul George is gone, but there's still they got a bench and they can still do a little bit of work. You got the Denver Nuggets, obviously Minnesota Timberwolves. You know, the Lakers are going to try and do work, but I don't really see them doing as much.
Phoenix
is another one, but they're bench too.
Don't sleep on the Grizzlies.
Don't sleep on the Grizzlies. And don't sleep on the Grizzlies. So for me, man, the trade was just like, okay, I'm going to give you a B, an A- player. You give me a B+ player with a C- player and maybe a pick. And it's just like, for me, it doesn't really do much, honestly.
So let me ask you a question, G Money, because I hear you say it doesn't move it marginal for you. Now, what if, kind of like what Snooty said, is that let's say if Mitchell Robinson, because a lot of their success last year with the Knicks was Hartenstein did a lot of that dirty work. He's in the paint, he's grabbing boards, offensive.
He's out of there, right?
Things of that nature. Yeah, he's out of there. He's in Oklahoma City now. What I'm saying is, I don't think Cat is that. Cat is not your down low dirty player to get his hands dirty and stuff. You need a guy that can do that. What if Mitchell Robinson did that, right? Or let's say you use Mitchell Robinson and you go get like, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of, what if you went and tried to get like Kevon Looney from Golden State to do the dirty work? You can still have Cat, maybe play the stretch and stuff like that. Because to me, Cat kind of reminds me of Anthony Davis. Like, they don't want to play the five. They don't want to get dirty. They don't want to be banging down there. So you need a banger, somebody that can bang, whether that's Mitchell Robinson, you go out, get Kevon Looney, you get somebody, right? Somebody to bang, and then you have Cat kind of coach. Would you like that better as opposed to Cat strictly playing the five?
Bro, I got to be real with you. Cat can't hold the shoebox of what Anthony Davis plays on defense, bro. That's disrespectful.
I meant just their mentality.
I think he was talking about the offensive talent.
Okay, yeah, okay, gotcha, yeah. Oh, facts. Yeah, I'm with you with that one. I actually would take Cat shooting over Anthony Davis. Really think going at it though. Yeah,
it's just for me, man. when it comes to, because you could be great all regular season. We've seen it with James Harden. We've seen it with other players. You could
Paul
be great all
George.
regular season. Yes, Paul George. You could be great all season, man, and we'll praise you for it. You'll get all NBA, you'll get all defense, you'll get whatever MVP voting that you're inclined to. But the real money comes in the fucking playoffs. And Cat isn't showing the hustle and the effort that he needs to show, man. I don't see the Knicks, and especially a Knicks team that that they're out there literally throwing hammers at people. Like
Wait, Tom Thibodeau.
I don't think exactly. I don't think he's going to fit that. Maybe they'll try. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe he changes. But right now, as Cat stands, to me, he doesn't fit that squad because he's not going to go down and throw a shoulder. He's not going to go down and throw an elbow.
That's what you got Mitch for. That's what Mitch is for. Cat gonna run the 4, Mitch at the 5, bro. He ain't gonna bang, bro. He not gonna. And I don't want him to personally.
Yeah. So with Mitch, right? If Mitch can drop 10 to 15 a game, then I would say it's a different story.
That's tough.
It's a different story. With the scoring that he has now,
give him the DeAndre Jordan special.
Yeah, exactly. You might get 6 out of that man. But no, hell,
that's what I'm saying. So it's like it doesn't move the needle.
I see what you. I got you.
Now I will give Cat the benefit of the doubt. Remember, Tibbs did coach him in Minnesota. Now, super earlier in his career, but they do have that sort of a relationship. Maybe Tibbs could kind of pull something out of him now, because let's be, Cat is a completely different person mentally now. You know what I'm saying? He's a veteran now. Been in the league for a while, after his mom passed away, RIP and stuff like that. You saw how he kind of just changed up his mentality a bit. So maybe that's the only hope that I'm kind of hoping for and stuff. Like if I was a Knicks fan, but yeah, I'm kind of with you. Cat doesn't bang, and
just would love to see him impose his size. Most of the people with my stature would love to be that stature and just bully people, bro. So it's it's good to see the big men are shooting more now, but in the 2000s you had Tim Duncan did nothing but post up. You got Shaq who did nothing but post up, and I just think that the big man now is going away from it because of how Golden State changed the game. That everybody wants to just stay out in 30 and shoot from 30. And not using their God-given ability, which is being like 7 foot, and just doing a quick
and just
pivot,
throwing it in the basket.
Dunk, man. Come on now. Like I just want to see it every once in a while, and I don't think I'm asking for too much.
No, you're not. And it's like you see other players do it. You see Jokic do it. Yeah, he doesn't do it to the top ability of what these big time big men in the past were doing it, but he's still doing it. Joel Embiid.
Chet will shoot that thing.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren too. He's
Chet like 90 feet tall.
And he's like 90 pounds.
Victor Wembanyama.
And they're still playing like dogs, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man, you gotta Cat, you've been in the league 11 years, man. You're a veteran, like Dickie says. You're multiple time All-Star. You've been in all NBA teams, you've been on all defensive teams, you've been close to the NBA finals. You've been to the conference finals, bro. You need to expand your game and start throwing elbows to these motherfuckers, man.
Quick question, right quick, fellas. In a percentage wise, how much do you think Anthony Edwards had like a little say in this move, though?
Definitely. They had to have talked to him. They had to have talked to.
How many times? How many times they talked?
Well, they had to at least say something. Like I don't see it happening now. Granted, I do. I understand. Especially with the Ant-Man thing, a lot of his stardom and success has come fairly quickly. Within the last year or so. You feel me? But let's be honest, it is his team now. Cat was a number 1 overall pick. He was doing his thing or whatever, but it's about the mentality. Imagine if you put Ant-Man's mentality in Cat's body. Pause. You'd have your perfect player. You know what I'm saying? So that's
why Jimmy had to try them when he was there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about a mentality. So I'm assuming they probably, hollered at him real quick, like, yo, what do you think? Because there's no way. I don't think they make a move like that without speak, because like I said, I was under the impression since they made the conference finals, they were gonna at least try to run it back. Because I felt if they would have lost, who they play in the second round? Denver. If they would have lost to Denver, I think Cat would have been out of there a lot sooner. or some big move would have been made a lot sooner. But since they made the conference finals, it's like, damn, like, bro, we was right there, you know, trying to compete. You know, granted, the Mavs kind of, you know, had their way.
Yeah.
But, you know, a few bounces this way, Ant really steps into his own. Who knows what can happen? But, you know, again, that's why I said I was a little shocked, just a little bit.